I graduated in May of 2013, so this was my first job out of school, and I'll be here for 4 years this May. The very beginning, when a brand normally, through research and market analysis comes up with like a new product, right? So let me think of something. Like charcoal mask is something that's new that we're launching. So that idea was developed, and depending on how complex it is, it'll be given a timeline for like the development and the creation. So let's just say this is 18 months because it's complex. So 18 months before we launch, we start planning, figuring out the formula, what else? Designing the package, all of that. So I'll make it a quick process, but you do all that. And then within that process, that's when the markets find out about it. And so the inventory analysts or forecasters in all the markets would provide their data, their numbers of what they think they're going to sell. Based on that, we would then start ordering the components, right? Like the tube or the raw materials or the lid. And that would come in probably 6 months before we're ready to launch. So then at that point in time, we start producing it. So again, if it's produced here, we've sourced all these different materials, and then we use our cookbook, our BOM, our recipe, and produce it. And then from there, it's packaged and it's shipped from our manufacturing plant here to ASRS, which is our automated storage and retrieval system. It's like a big warehouse. So once it's shipped to the warehouse, our analysts on my team then decide what market needs what. So they pull inventory from the warehouse and ship it via truck to the 5 U.S. branches. So, maybe California needs X number, New York needs X number. International analyst, they'll pull from that same warehouse and they'll put it on ships and ship it to Russia or European markets or to Australia. And we do that probably 4 months before the launch because it has to go through customs, and then from there it goes to the market-specific warehouses, and then from there customers can order and they ship direct from warehouses. Our department, inventory control, is kind of like the hub or the core of our supply chain. So we have people who, once a product is produced, they're working with all of our international markets. So they're breaking down the inventory, deciding how much does Brazil need, how much does Mexico need. They're making sure their market that they're assigned to is getting what they need. Inventory analysts in my department also, that's kind of going along with that. They build the shipments, the trucks. So they actually decide, a truck can only hold so much, right? So based on what they need and the size of the boxes, what's actually going to fit onto this truck or this container that's going on a ship across the world. What I do as an inventory analyst, I manage phase outs. So if we're getting rid of a lipstick because no one likes wearing orange lipstick, or we're getting a better, shinier, prettier lipstick, since we produce everything, like we'll have a lot of caps and a lot of bulk and a lot of tubes left over for that lipstick. So I go through and figure out, how do we minimize that obsolescence? How do we make sure when this new shiny lipstick launches that we're not going to have any leftover caps for that old ugly orange one? We also have analysts who manage like promotional, like items we're launching brand new. Like, how do we make sure when something launches and we have no idea how it's going to sell, like how do you make sure we can react to if it's doing really well and we're overselling? So to sum all that up, I mean, just anything involving the management of inventory once it's produced and getting it to the markets, both new and at the end of its life cycle. Supply chain is critical. So this is kind of cool. Like every year we have an annual kick off the year, how did we do in the past, that our CEO leads. And the question they always ask is, what keeps you up at night as the CEO of a big company? And his answer is always supply chain. Like, supply chain is critical, especially in this day and age where things are just becoming more and more global. I'd say it's one of the most important pieces of a company. If you can't get your product where it needs to go, your great product isn't really going to be successful.
I think it's crazy how you have all y'all the ones that are like in control here, like control 80% of all that like.
It's hard to wrap your brain around,
It's
right?
kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. But it also, like, it's very cool. I feel like, you know, really important every day, like, having such a you know, a widespread reach around the world, and our mission of impacting and, you know, just bettering women's lives is cool too. So it's nice that we're able to do that on a global scale.